Hello, visionaries. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to cover a topic that is often difficult to endure, but a very important one nonetheless: self forgiveness. If these sound familiar, you are in the right place. If you did something you regret and you are tired of carrying the weight of the past, if you suffer from self-loathing for some action or something about yourself, and you're finally ready to be free of the oppressive weight of it. If you keep experiencing other people not forgiving you, like a loop in the movie Groundhog Day that just keeps repeating over and over again. Or maybe one of these sound like you. I keep replaying the same mistakes in my head. Or I feel like a failure even though I have tried to move on. Or I'm afraid of what people will think if they knew my past. If you want, go ahead and comment below what kinds of things you would like to forgive yourself for. One person I worked with had treated a family member badly and wanted to be free of her guilt. Another person I worked with had stolen money and had no way to restore or repay what they had stolen. Another person I worked with was taking pictures of his girlfriend while she was sleeping and realized that was not the kind of integrity that he wanted to be living, to be taking her pictures without her consent. But even when the two of them went through therapy and she forgave him, he couldn't actually forgive himself. My hope here is to support you at finding your way free from the cycle of self-criticism, to find peace within yourself, and maybe even find the incredible sense of freedom that comes with unconditional self-love, a love beyond conditions. So here's what you can expect from this experience today. First, we will cover some truths that most people aren't aware of that keeps them stuck. Then we'll do a guided meditation to apply those insights. And then at the end, anyone who wishes can share what they learned or discovered. My hope is that by the end of this session, you will have a tool and the experience to find deeper peace and acceptance. I hope you'll find this experience relieving and helpful. So if you're wondering who I am and why you would want to trust me to support your healing work, my name is Maya Gail Taylor, and I'm the creator of LIFTnibbles. My own journey led me through some pretty intense challenges, from childhood traumas to grappling with the nature of reality. I also had insights and sensibilities that others didn't seem to share when I was very, very young. So this sparked kind of a lifelong passion for understanding and for sharing conversations about healing and transformation and the nature of reality. And I've spent over 3 decades since exploring through various modalities, from ancient spiritual practices to modern psychology. You can think of it as a quest for enlightenment, but fewer monks and more books. I also trained with renowned teachers at the time like Marshall Rosenberg, Ken Wilber, David Deida, and others. Studied with coach certification schools and wound up developing my own unique approach to help people to break free from the past and to tap into their inner wisdom. And often, the results that they experienced, they could experience in a really short amount of time, as little as 20 to 90 minutes to experience permanent change. You can find testimonials on YouTube and on LinkedIn, but ultimately today isn't about me. It's about your inner spark and what brought you here. Obviously, there's some part of you that knows love and wants to thrive. We all have that spark of deep wisdom within us, and it's much easier to locate that than your car keys, trust me. Anyway, my goal today is to help you bridge from where you are now to that profound, nourishing, healing wellspring of infinite inner wisdom, and to share some of what 3 decades has gifted me. So let's talk a little bit about things they don't teach us. See, in the material and skeptical mainstream, there are keys to freedom that have been applied for thousands of years that are not taught to us by modern schools and mainstream media. For example, forgiveness comes only after caring for grief. If you haven't forgiven yourself, it's likely a sign that grief is stuck and wants to come out. Grief and regret are what we feel when core ideals core values within us are breached, either in ourselves or in others in the story. So, what does that mean? What might that sound like? That might sound like someone saying, I'm sad because that's not the way I wanted to show my love. Or someone saying, I wish I had done a better job of showing respect and trust. Or someone saying, that wasn't the way I want to be in integrity with myself. These are just a few examples of core ideals. And you can think of core ideals as the heart behind grief for our actions. We get happy when we live congruent with our core ideals, and when we don't, we feel heartbreak, or we feel upset, or we feel sad. So maybe now you're wondering, what are the core ideals in you that are bringing you grief and keeping you from forgiving yourself? To find the core ideals in any situation, imagine what the ideal scenario would be like if it had been a beautiful, satisfying, ideal situation. Some more examples of core ideals or core values include things like kindness or peace, contribution or accomplishment, or play. There are hundreds, actually. You can search online to find your favorite list, or you can click the link below to find a list. When grief does come, be patient with yourself. Let come out what needs to come out. It may come in waves, it may return unexpectedly. Allow yourself to just observe the grief and breathe. You might visualize it like smoke releasing or tar releasing, or any other visual that works for you. We will visit grief and release work during our meditation. Grief is normal and it's natural, but also it helps to know that at the core, we are all innocent. I know you're here because there's something you want to forgive yourself for. I know you feel guilty. But I also know that you are inherently innocent. I know that because I know that every action is an attempt to experience some sort of beautiful, universal core ideal. Maybe you were at your wit's end and you needed to get support that you weren't getting. Maybe you wanted appreciation or acknowledgement or to be seen and understood. Maybe what you did was an attempt to take care of someone else. Maybe you wanted to experience the rush of joy or mischief or excitement and didn't know other strategies that would work. Sometimes the hardest truth to face and to integrate is the innocence in our own humanity. A killer may be trying to give a gift of protection and safety. A rapist may be trying to get relief for an excruciatingly painful need. A thief may be trying to provide for a family. Or sometimes we do things to try to soothe a painful life experience. Ultimately, whatever the reasons were for what happened, we can't address or transform what we don't first acknowledge and integrate. We can resolve, heal, and restore after we've realized the truth that behind every action, ultimately, is a beautiful, worthy core ideal that's trying to express and receive love or give love. There may be complex reasons behind why you're here today, and it may even be unconscious. But I absolutely guarantee you that somewhere down the line, there's some bit of love in you that was trying to be expressed or experienced or given. So choose one topic. You may have several, but choose one of the things that you want to forgive yourself about. And if you can, boil it down to at least one specific action, something that you did specifically. Now imagine a chair on your left, and imagine the mistake or the thing that you did, quote unquote, wrong. Imagine that as a human being separate from you. Give the being a name if you want, and invite that being to sit with you in the chair over there. Just for a moment, take a deep breath and look at that being in the chair and ask yourself, what gift might that being have been trying to give? We'll explore this a little bit more in our guided meditation. Another key to freedom that they don't teach us in school is that there's more to truth than we can actually touch. We hold within us the power to shift our felt sense experiences. Using this greater, higher self, we can plant seeds for new experiences, new biochemistry, new mental energy patterns. We can tap into this higher aspect of ourselves to create space and healing from within. If you don't have prior experience or you're skeptical about the higher self, think of it this way. We know that there are microwaves and radio waves. We know that these are real even though we don't see them. We know that we have other ways of experiencing them. We also know that what we think is solid around us, like tables or chairs or other people, are not actually solid. What's also true is that atoms are made up of space and spinning currents of vibrating energy. While solid may be one level of truth, another level of truth is that there's much, much more to reality than what is tangible and material. It's easy to scoff at non-physical things when we have not personally, directly experienced it yet. But think about it this way. Think about other languages. Even if you were not brought up speaking Swahili, or if you never learned how to speak Swahili, that doesn't mean Swahili doesn't exist. It does exist. You just haven't experienced it or mastered it yet. When we directly experience and master our own experience of the non-physical world, we find an infinite fountainhead of inner source wisdom and guidance and love. We can then tune into this inner source for profound nourishing and healing. So we're going to tap into that deeper wisdom and compassion for inner peace and self-love today. Another thing they don't teach us is that with inner knowing comes freedom and power. The more we strengthen our relationship to that inner aspect, that intangible inner knowing, the more we access freedom and power from within. If our core values are higher ideals that are hungry to be realized, we can actually feed ourselves those experiences. That frees us in really profound ways so that we don't have to always depend on circumstances outside of us for our inner state to be satisfied. This is really different than what the mainstream teaches. In our materialist society, we're taught to depend on external, tangible, material fulfillment. We're born depending on caregivers for our survival, and if we don't remember that source within, we remain dependent on circumstances outside of us. Material possessions and entertainment wind up having more value to us than people do or inner experiences. So this focus on the world outside of us teaches us shame. It teaches us that unless we fulfill certain criteria, we're not enough, we're not worthy. We're taught that blame, shame, and retributive justice are the way to control other people. So we use criticism and ridicule as tools to align other people and other circumstances to our personal preferences. On the other hand, when we live in the inner experience with the aspects of truth that go beyond the physical, when we live in a world rich with subtle, infinite, higher aspects within, our perspective actually changes. In this strange and mysterious place, we find miraculous things happen. We find trust beyond ourselves, beyond our experience. We realize that everything is actually already in perfect order, as strange as that may seem. We realize that we're not actually flawed at all, that we are a perfect part of a unified field of creation, folding and unfolding, exploring itself and learning. Some call this Indra's net. In this space of perception beyond limited material senses, the meaning of good or bad begins to change, it begins to shift. While we obviously still recognize that certain actions serve life and certain actions don't, that certain things work and certain things don't, at the same time, we begin to see that the all of experience is a lot like looking at colors on a rainbow. There in front of us is a spectrum of activity, and some of it we like, and some of it we don't like. We don't have to like all of it. But the colors themselves are not good or bad, they just are as they are. And then there's our inner personal preferences about what we like or don't like. If you haven't had a really profound, deep experience of the infinite higher self, these ideas might sound like gibberish. They might sound hard to swallow. But with a more direct felt sense experience, we realize that the mysteries of creation are equally as real, or sometimes even more real than our local personal biases and our preferences. We can step back, and while we can still acknowledge preference, we can also realize that it's possible to love beyond those preferences. We start to look at ourselves and other people differently, and flaws and mistakes don't look the same anymore. Imagine the sweet innocence of a toddler learning to walk. They fall, they knock things over, they break things. But they're doing the best they can with what they have. They're learning, experimenting, and growing. And one day they'll be able to run marathons. So we love them beyond the tumbles and the missteps. Eventually we come to realize that each life experience, whether we like it or not, whether we prefer it or not, it's an opportunity to rediscover and to remember the ecstatic, infinite source magic that is beyond the life that we've lived before. We remember the magic that is who we most deeply are. Think of it this way. You can't go wrong if you see every experience as a learning opportunity rather than a mistake. But none of this will have any meaning for you really until you directly, personally, deeply experience it. So to deepen this understanding, we'll do a guided self-forgiveness meditation. So find a space where we won't be interrupted. Make yourself comfortable, and let's begin. Go ahead and close your eyes. We will begin with square breathing for relaxation. Take a deep breath as you get even more comfortable. On your next slow, deep inhale, count how many seconds it takes to breathe in deeply as you can, easily and comfortably. Now hold your breath for the same count. As you exhale, slowly exhale for the same count or even a little longer. Now hold your breath for that same count again. Continue this square breathing and relax even deeper. Maybe you inhale to a count of 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale for 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath again for 4. Good. Now on the next square breath, see if you can slow and lengthen the breath. 5, 5, 5, 5. And another slow, square breath. Good. Now we'll do a body scan to deepen your relaxation even more. Remember that you are now and are always in control of your mental state. You can open your eyes and be fully alert and present anytime you wish. For now, just relax. Relax the top of your head, your face, your jaw, your neck. Relax your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Relax your torso, your pelvis, your belly, and your back. Relax your thighs, your calves, your feet, your toes. Take another long, slow, deep breath. That's fine. Now, on the count of 3, you're going to imagine or sense a room with 4 chairs. In one chair, there you are, seated comfortably, relaxing. The other 3 chairs are empty. There's 1 chair to your left, 1 chair is in front of you, and 1 chair to your right. This small circle of chairs is close enough together for an intimate, private conversation, but there's enough space so that everyone seated will feel at ease. So now I will count to 3, and you will be seated comfortably within the circle of chairs. 1, 2, 3. Now you are in the circle of chairs, with an empty chair to your left, an empty chair to your right, and an empty chair in front of you. Allow yourself to go even deeper, relax even more. We all have a strength and a wisdom always there within us. We will connect with that now. I'm going to count again to 3. And on the count of 3, you're going to envision, imagine, or sense a being, an entity, in or around the chair directly in front of you. Let's call this entity the infinite loving witness. This being is an ideal, non-judgmental supporter, a loving companion. Whatever shape or imagine you choose for your infinite loving witness is just fine. It can be a cloud of white shining light, or your infinite loving witness can be an angel or a deity, an ideal parent or celebrity, or a perfect version of yourself. Your infinite loving witness can be anything you imagine it to be. So now I will count to 3, and you will see or sense this being in the chair across from you. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. See your infinite loving witness there now, in or around the chair in front of you. Wonderful. See, feel, or imagine this infinite loving witness radiating warmth toward you. Feel, sense, and hear this entity as it observes you with nurturing, compassion, non-judgment, and love. What does that love look like, sound like, or feel like to you? In your most satisfying ideal scenario, how would you most like to experience loving support? Maybe the loving entity embraces you in an energy of soothing, comforting warmth. Maybe they just sit softly, quietly there with you. Maybe they jostle you mischievously. Whatever you choose, that's fine. See, sense, and feel that loving support now. Good. Now, telepathically, from this infinite loving witness, you hear, what is it that you would like to forgive yourself about today? Effortlessly, with no story needed, you reveal what you would like self-forgiveness about. The infinite loving witness knows your story. So relax. Just feel as your infinite loving witness continues to regard you with absolute, unconditional, infinite support, acceptance, acknowledgement, and love. What does that love look like? sound like or feel like now? Maybe there's a silent gesture. Maybe there's a word, a phrase, or a sound you'd like to hear. Whatever that ideal is, allow yourself to experience that now. Good. Now notice in your body, how does it feel to experience this little bit of pure acceptance, this loving receptivity? Where in your body do you feel that? If the physical sensation of it had a shape, a size, or a color, what would it look like or feel like? What size would it be? Allow yourself to experience this infinite loving witness even more deeply. Now, in a moment, I will again count to 3. When I get to 3, 2 other beings will appear in the room with you. In the chair to your left will appear the chooser. The chooser represents whatever it is you did that you want to forgive yourself for, or whatever it is you want to be forgiven for. The chooser represents that. In the chair to your right, you will experience who we call the judge. The judge is the part of you that is unhappy about what you did or said. The judge is the critical part, the part of you that doesn't forgive you yet. So on the count of 3, you'll sense the chooser in the chair on the left and the judge in the chair to your right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And now you see the chooser in the chair to your left and the judge in the chair to your right. Just notice them. With no judgment, just observe what you see, hear, and sense. Notice also that your infinite loving witness remains there with all of you. Excellent. Take another deep, comforting breath. Feel yourself relaxing even more, even deeper. What do you see, sense, or feel as the infinite loving witness radiates support, energy, and acknowledgement to all parts of you? Now, while your loving infinite witness remains with all parts of you, nourishing, nurturing, begin to turn your attention to the chair on the right, the seat of the judge. Take another long, slow, deep breath. If you would like, go ahead and silently greet the judge. Notice how the judge feels about the issue you want forgiven. Is it anger, grief, heartbreak, disappointment, or sadness? Maybe the judge wants to punish you or wants you to suffer for what happened. Maybe there's something the judge wants to say. Hear it out. Without judgment now, just observe the judge. Let the judge express. Take another deep, long, slow breath. Relax. That's fine. Now turn your attention to the seat across from you and put your attention on the ideal loving witness. With the ideal infinite witness, notice that behind the judge's anger, heartbreak, grief, disappointment, sadness, whatever the judge is experiencing, there's actually a beautiful ideal of what the judge wishes would have happened instead of what actually happened. There's some beautiful vision, something the judge deeply, deeply cares about. Maybe it was a lost opportunity. Maybe it was something beautiful that the judge wanted to experience. What situation is it that the judge wanted? If that situation happened, what does the judge hope that that would bring you or bring to others? What core values is the judge mourning? What's the beautiful ideal that the judge is trying to stand up for? Take another long, deep breath. Relax. Notice everything that the judge is expressing with the same love that you might give to an innocent, sincere, beautiful child. The judge may get more intense. That's okay. Just observe. Breathe. If grief wants to come out, go ahead and let it. You might burp or cry or want to scream into a pillow. That's fine. Or you can release grief silently. If it doesn't want to release, that's fine too. Don't force, just observe whatever you experience. Notice again the presence of the infinite loving witness, receiving everything that the judge is expressing, shines care, acknowledgement, and unconditional support. As the judge, what would this part of you most like to hear, feel, see, or experience from this infinite loving witness right now? Sense, visualize, or hear the loving witness giving that love to the judge. Maybe the loving witness says, "Your feelings are absolutely valid, and what you care about matters." Maybe the loving witness says, "I see how beautiful your vision is. How sweet that would be." Maybe the loving witness says, "I really get how much you wanted that. I get how much it hurt not to experience it." What does your version of loving witness look like, sound like, or feel like now? If grief does want to release, take a slow breath, and on your next exhale, imagine grief, disappointment, anger, heartbreak, sadness, whatever you're having, imagine them exiting with the air. Maybe it looks like smoke exiting on your next exhale, or tar exiting. Take another long, slow, deep breath. relax even deeper. On your inhale, imagine clean, clear, sparkling air refilling the space that was left over after you exhale. If you like, you might even imagine that the grief is a shape that has an exit valve like a water faucet or a straw. And on your next exhale, see, feel, or hear grief, anger, pain, disappointment, exhaling, exiting through the faucet or the straw. Watch as it evaporates into the air. Take another long, slow cleansing breath. And on your next exhale, release even more. And more. Take one more deep breath, breathing in cool, healing, liquid crystal air. Again, take another slow breath, and if you're not already tuning into the judge, turn your attention again to the judge. As the judge, how does it feel to receive this validation, acknowledgement, support, and care? How does it feel to be fully heard, felt, and understood? Notice how the judge responds and breathe. Now we will plant seeds of healing for the judge. We may not be able to undo what happened, but what we can do is care for the neurons, the body, the heart, and the spirit within that wanted to experience a specific kind of experience. So take another long, slow, deep breath. I'm again going to count to 3. On this count of 3, you'll imagine the experience and the values that the judge values. Imagine the things that happened again, but in a more perfect, more ideal way, as if they are happening right now. In this new, beautiful, satisfying, ideal vision, this time you do and say exactly as you wished you had done and said. You are exactly who you want to be. In this new, beautiful, satisfying vision, you get to feel and experience exactly what the judge most wanted to feel and experience. Here, you're able to give and to receive exactly what you wanted to give and receive. So on the count of 3, you'll see, hear, or feel the ideal vision. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here you are in the experience of what the judge wishes could have happened. Who's here with you in this vision? What ideal things are happening here now? What do you see, hear, feel, and sense in this ideal? If grief surfaces to be released, that's okay. Let it flow. Good. Take another long, slow breath. Allow yourself to go even more deeply into this ideal vision. What else do you see, hear, feel? What details, colors, and shapes do you experience? Hear sounds even more clearly. Feel sensations and touch even more deeply. And even more, let this new experience wash over you like cleansing sunlight, cleansing wind, cleansing rain. Let yourself soak it in. Where in your body do you feel the relief, the comfort, or the sweetness of this experience? What does it feel like? Notice, observe. How does it feel to experience this new, ideal, satisfying moment? Float completely in the sweet fulfillment of this new, satisfying moment. What else would your heart like to experience here? Now, on the count of 3, we will return to the circle of chairs with the judge on the right, the chooser on the left, and the infinite loving witness in the chair across from you. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now you're back in the circle of chairs. Take another long, slow breath. Sense, feel, and imagine yourself continuing to be supported and nurtured by your infinite loving witness, beaming, nourishing, nurturing energy. Now turn your attention to the chair on the left, the seat of the chooser. Softly, the infinite loving witness whispers, "It's easy to forgive you because I know that behind what happened, there were beautiful, innocent, loving reasons. I know that what you did was rooted in trying to give and receive love." Watch without judgment as the chooser's mind gently floats to the moments, the days, months, and years prior to this event. Notice that behind the chooser's experience and choices, there's something beautiful. Notice that when you did what you did, who you are, how you're being, they all represent beautiful, loving, sincere parts of you. Parts that your heart wants to give or to experience. Somehow there are precious values that the chooser was trying to stand up for. Some vision, something the chooser deeply, deeply cares about. What were those beautiful ideals? What were the core values that the chooser was standing up for? Maybe there were situations and events that led up to this moment, and you were trying to offer care or protection or trying to help. Maybe there was unresolved past pain that you wanted to give relief to yourself for. You hear on the wind, "I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you had to experience that." Maybe the actions you took were part of what you were taught to do. Maybe even habits that were passed down through your family tree, and you were trying to be in integrity with your family or with yourself. Maybe the actions that you took were an attempt to experience a bliss, a joy, or an excitement that you dearly needed. As you focus your attention deeply into the heart of the chooser, ask gently, what ideal, what gift was it that you were trying to give me or give others? What is it you were trying to have appreciated, valued, or acknowledged? Hear out the chooser's expression. Observe everything with no judgment. Just notice. Notice that there was something beautiful, innocent, and loving behind what the chooser did or said or was. Take another deep, comforting breath. Relax. Whatever the reasons were, whatever you notice here, just observe it without judgment. Gently notice the reasons as if they were small, beautiful, innocent children, or like watching waves on the ocean, coming and going. Breathe and continue to feel the support and the nurturing of the infinite loving witness. Sense the care, acknowledgement, and unconditional support. As the chooser, what would you most like to hear, feel, sense, or experience from this infinite loving witness right now? Sense, visualize, or hear the loving witness giving that love to the chooser. Maybe the loving witness says, "I see your sincerity. I see you are good, true, and beautiful. I understand the love you are trying to stand up for." Maybe the loving witness says, "I love you. I trust you. You are beautiful to me. I will always be here to hold you and cherish you." Maybe loving witness says, "I know you did the best you could with what you had at the time. Whatever it is that you want to see, feel, and hear, experience that now." Finally, the loving witness says, "I forgive you. I love you. I understand you. I'm right here. I forgive you." If release wants to happen, go ahead and let it. If not, that's fine too. Just observe whatever you experience. If you do want to release, take a slow breath, and on your exhale, imagine your body sensations exiting with the air. Maybe they look like smoke exiting or tar exiting on your exhale. On your next inhale, imagine clean, clear, healing light refilling the space that was left. Relax even deeper. Feel, sense, and experience even more of the loving witness forgiveness. And more. Drink in even more infinite, loving, compassionate forgiveness. On your next exhale, you might imagine relief or grief sensations in your body with a shape that has an exit valve like a water faucet or a straw. If you like, on your next exhale, see, feel, or hear the sensations exiting through this faucet or straw. Watch as they evaporate into the air. On your next inhale, breathe in cool, clear, healing, liquid air. Relax even more. As the chooser, how does it feel to receive this infinite, loving witnessing, acknowledgement, and forgiveness? How does it feel to be fully heard, felt, and understood? Breathe in even more of the sweetness of feeling heard, felt, and understood. Good. Now turn your attention back to the judge. Judge, how is it for you to see, hear, and feel the innocence behind the chooser? How is it for you to uncover the innocence, the love, and the core values behind the chooser? Allow yourself to breathe in whatever you are willing to breathe in of the loving, infinite witness, forgiveness. Allow yourself to feel, say, or experience whatever you are willing of. I forgive you. Continue to relax as you gently turn your attention to the infinite, loving witness. Imagine, feel, hear, or sense the entity expanding, like smoke dissipating into a wide cloud, or like an energy ball getting bigger and bigger. As this shining form expands, it carries all of you with it. Your form, the judge, the chooser, all expanding, all blending into one shining cloud, almost like a white, bright fog lit by sunlight, as if the infinite witness is expanding as one with all parts of you. Imagine, feel, hear, sense this one energy cloud. Feel the sweetness of your essence as one merged with this infinite loving witness. Notice that you are both all of the cloud now and also within it. You are as it, with it, made up of it. And as you continue to allow your expanded energy body to float, realize, notice that this entity, this love and care, all came from within you. Notice that deep within you is this fountain of incredible love, creativity, and possibility. Notice how this infinite loving source is an aspect of who you are most deeply. Now, very slowly, your attention begins to return to your normal form. As you gently, slowly shift, notice that the infinite loving witness, infinite compassion and support comes with you, fused, permeating every minute space of all of you. And as you begin to see your form even more like your usual self again, notice that you can still hear, feel, and sense that inner loving witness, inner knowing, inner guidance. Invite this inner compass to guide you now. As you continue to breathe deeply, listen and look to see if there are any steps to take, actions, or requests to make of yourself or others after you move forward in this new body. Whatever you notice here, you will effortlessly remember. Just listen, observe, and witness what enters your awareness now. Rest now, complete. Notice that now you are new. You now have experiences you did not have before. You now have newer, deeper connection to infinite inner support. You now have new clarity, new insight. In a moment, I will count backwards from 10 to 1. As I count from 10 to 1, your attention will slowly return to the physical room around you. Now, gently, slowly returning. 10, 9. The work is done. 8. Bringing with you a new neural network, new biochemistry, new experiences. 7, 6. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. bringing with you the infinite all that you most deeply are. 5, 4. Slowly begin to move your hands and your feet. When you awake, you will feel fully refreshed, fully alert, and better than you did before. 3. At the count of 1, you will open your eyes, feeling wide awake and refreshed. 2. Feeling better and better. Slowly beginning to flutter your eyes open. Now, 1, 1, 1. Wide awake, fully alert, feeling rested, refreshed, and renewed. Wide awake, feeling better than you did before. Welcome back. If you would like to make notes on your experience, now would be a good time to do that. But in the next 24 hours, be sure to take gentle care of yourself as your system reintegrates this new body of experience. Drink water, take gentle walks or naps or yoga or gentle stretching. Those also help. In a moment, we'll take time for those who want to share comments and answer any questions. Thank you for listening. I look forward to reading your thoughts and your comments, and I hope to see you again for more explorations in higher self and consciousness. Please follow LIFTnibbles on X, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And remember, underneath it all, love is who we most deeply are. And now we will open the floor to comments and questions. Thank you again. Take care.